flash, cameras clicking quick. Showtime, super gringo slick. Headlines buzzing like a mix. 20 seconds, that's the fix. Short and sharp, just like a dart. Gringo's antics steal your heart. In a flash, the show will start. Super shorts, that's where we part. Short and sharp, just like a dart. Gringo's antics steal your heart. In a flash, the show will start. Super shorts, that's where we part.
Welcome to another episode of Super Gringo Shorts. I'm the Super Gringo, Sean Armstrong, from my secret hideaway in Brazil. Let's get real for a moment. How many of you have heard the phrase, "You voted for it, now enjoy it"? Well, that's exactly what I'm here to talk about today. You see, we've got a group out there, let's call them the loony left, who are raising a ruckus about health care. They're complaining about their plans not covering what they need or being too expensive. Let me remind you of something crucial. This is the healthcare system they championed. This is Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, and ironically, it does neither of the things its name suggests. Now, don't get me wrong, I believe everyone deserves access to quality health care. But let's face it, Obamacare isn't affordable for many families struggling to pay skyrocketing premiums and deductibles. It's like going to a fancy restaurant only to find that the menu prices are out of your budget. You can look at all those mouth-watering dishes on the menu, but when you get the bill, reality hits hard. So here's my question. Why are we still pretending this works? Why are we ignoring the facts? We've got folks paying more for less care. It's as if someone gave us a ticket to an amusement park but forgot to tell us that all the rides were broken. Now, let's break this down further. The Affordable Care Act was sold as a remedy for our health care woes, a magic potion that would make everything all right overnight. But here we are years later with rising costs and limited options. It feels like being promised a luxury cruise only to end up on a leaky boat in rough waters. And while people complain about their plight in this system, they seem to forget who put them in these choppy waters in the first place. Remember what Benjamin Franklin once said. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Well, folks, if we want real solutions rather than just band-aid fixes wrapped in bureaucracy, we need to start voting with our heads instead of our emotions. Voting has consequences. Let's embrace the truth. Now, I know some of you may be thinking, but what's the alternative? That's where we need honest dialogue, not just finger-pointing or shouting slogans from both sides of the aisle. We need innovative solutions that prioritize patients over politics and care over costs. So let's demand accountability from those who push through policies that haven't delivered on their promises. Let's engage in real conversations about what real health care should look like. A system where every American has access not to just some care, but good care at affordable prices. Remember this, health care isn't just another political football. It affects lives every single day. So whether you're on board with Obamacare or looking for alternatives, let's come together as informed citizens ready to demand better from our leaders. Let's talk about a little hand gesture that has stirred up quite the tempest in a teapot. Yes, I'm talking about none other than Elon Musk, a man who embodies both brilliance and bafflement in equal measure. Recently, he found himself embroiled in controversy over a hand sign that some folks are interpreting as something sinister. But let's pause for a moment. This is the same gesture that was popularized by the Romulans in Star Trek, the original series. Remember? Now, Here's where it gets really interesting. Musk is known for his geeky tendencies. He's practically the poster child for tech nerds everywhere. So why are we jumping to conclusions? Is it because we've decided to ignore logic in favor of sensationalism? The truth is, this isn't just about a hand gesture. It's about how easily we get swept away by rhetoric that doesn't serve us. Yeah, a Nazi would definitely travel to Israel after October 7th and offer aid. That's what a Nazi would do. Just pointing out how stupid some people sound. This kind of hyperbolic language isn't just irresponsible, it shows how desperate some people are to cling onto narratives that lost them an election. It's like watching a car crash in slow motion. You can't look away, even though it leads nowhere good. Isn't it ironic? Instead of focusing on real issues like wildfires, the economy, crime, or healthcare, some want to keep this charade going until at least midterms. Feels like they're already conceding defeat in 2028. What does that say about our political landscape when mudslinging takes precedence over meaningful dialogue? Let me ask you this. Are we really going to allow ourselves to be distracted by petty controversies while more significant problems loom large on the horizon? Are we going to let sensationalism dictate our conversations instead of engaging with facts and reason? The great Albert Einstein once said, "A person who never made a mistake never tried anything new." So why are we vilifying those who dare step outside their comfort zones? Why can't we celebrate innovation while also addressing concerns with civility? So let's rise above the noise. Let us engage thoughtfully instead of reactively. Embrace your inner geek. Dive into discussions that matter. Whether you're Team Musk or not, let's remember what truly counts: the pursuit of progress through constructive conversation. Let me remind you, the next time you see someone waving their hands around like they're channeling intergalactic vibes or offering aid where it's needed most, think twice before jumping on the bandwagon of outrage. After all, life is too short for silly controversies when there are real issues begging for our attention. Have you ever turned on all the water in your house at the same time? I mean, every faucet, every shower head, and maybe even the hose outside? What happens? You create a chaotic flood. Water spills everywhere, your kitchen, your bathroom, your living room. There's no control. It's a disaster waiting to happen. Well, I'm here to tell you that's exactly what California did with their reservoirs after record rainfall. They drained them straight into the ocean like they were trying to fill a swimming pool for the Pacific. Now they have wildfires, where that water might have come in handy. Now let's think about that for a moment. They have this immense gift from nature, water falling from the sky, and instead of storing it for those hot summer months when they'll need it most, they just tossed it away. It's like throwing money out of your window while standing in front of an ATM. Just admit it. Voting for policies that lead you to drain your own lifeblood was not exactly your smartest move. And let's be real here. This isn't just about water management. It's about accountability. It's about recognizing that your leaders made some colossal mistakes and then having the guts to say, hey, maybe we should rethink this. You can't keep pretending everything is fine while watching your state sink deeper into crisis because of poor decisions. So I ask you, what happens when you drain your reservoirs into the ocean? You drown in your own stupidity. And yes, I said it, stupidity. Because if you don't face these realities head on, if you don't take responsibility for your choices at the ballot box, you're doomed to repeat them over and over again. Now, some might argue that these decisions are complicated, that there are layers of bureaucracy and red tape involved. But let me remind you, sometimes simplicity is key. Sometimes you just need to look at what's right in front of you and say, this isn't working. As Albert Einstein once again said, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So let's stop this insanity. Let's stop letting ourselves be swept away by empty promises and misguided policies. It's time for us to take a stand, not just against those who defend these failures, but against complacency itself. Let's become informed voters who demand better from our leaders. Now, I want you to promise us right now, never again will you allow such negligence with your precious resources. Talk to your neighbors. Engage with your community. Educate yourselves on local issues. Hold those in power accountable. Don't just vote, vote wisely. Be proactive instead of reactive. Let's not go quietly into another crisis because we didn't speak up when it mattered most. Together, let's ensure that California's government doesn't repeat its past mistakes. Ensure the next time it rains, you're ready to catch every drop. Today I want to talk about something that weighs heavily on all our hearts: the safety of our schools. It's a topic that stirs deep emotions and raises urgent questions. How can we make our schools safer? How can we ensure that our children thrive in an environment free from fear? Let's be frank, it starts with not screwing up our kids. We need to take a long, hard look at who we're hiring to teach them. Are we bringing in individuals who are mentally stable and equipped to nurture young minds? Or are we overlooking critical factors because of political correctness or budget constraints? Imagine this. What if we started checking the TikTok accounts of potential teachers? Now, I know that might sound extreme, but think about it. Social media is a window into someone's character. If a teacher's online presence reveals troubling behavior or harmful ideologies, shouldn't that raise red flags? After all, these are the people shaping the future of our children. But beyond hiring practices lies a deeper issue. The debate surrounding gun violence often overshadows the root causes fueling this crisis. We hear so much about guns as instruments of violence, yet how often do we discuss the alarming mental health crisis among today's youth? Reports tell us that unprecedented levels of depression and anxiety are affecting children like never before. This isn't just numbers, these are lives at stake. So, let me ask you this. If we only point fingers at firearms without addressing the underlying mental health issues, aren't we missing the forest for the trees? Blaming guns is akin to blaming a lamp for casting shadows. It deflects responsibility from where it truly belongs, on society and individual behavior. Now, let's turn our attention to education itself. Critics argue that schools today may be promoting ideologies around gender identity and social justice while neglecting traditional values like discipline and personal accountability. Inclusivity is important. No one is denying that. But if schools focus solely on external circumstances without empowering students to take charge of their own lives, they risk fostering feelings of victimization rather than resilience. We live in an age where medication has become a quick fix, a band-aid solution for deeper-rooted problems. Prescriptions for antidepressants have skyrocketed. Yet, what does this say about how we're preparing our children for life's challenges? Shouldn't we be teaching them how to cope with adversity instead of relying solely on pharmaceuticals? While conversations about gun control remain vital within public safety discussions, let's not forget the social factors contributing to violence. Addressing mental health among youth, critically evaluating educational practices influencing their worldview, and reassessing our reliance on medications are necessary steps towards holistic solutions. I urge each one of you here today, let's shift our focus away from merely blaming objects like firearms towards understanding human behavior shaped by societal influences. Together, we can cultivate effective strategies aimed at reducing violence overall. Let's nurture a generation capable not only of surviving, but thriving amid challenges, one where conflict resolution doesn't lead to harm against themselves or others. As Mahatma Gandhi once said, "Be the change you wish to see in the world." Let us embody this change together for safer schools and brighter futures. If you want to see a true minority, just look around you. Look at the intelligent people, the critical thinkers, the innovators, the ones who dared to challenge the status quo. They are outnumbered by the uninformed, the complacent, by at least 100 to 1. And here's the kicker. This isn't just a casual observation. It's a reality that has profound implications for our society and our government. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Isn't intelligence subjective? Well, let's not get sidetracked. We can all agree that there's a difference between critical thinking and mindlessly scrolling through social media. The truth is that intelligence, real intelligence, has been overshadowed in recent years by policies like diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives that prioritize quotas over qualifications. But today, I'm here to tell you that DEI is dead in American government. Let me repeat that. DEI is dead. If you want a government job now, or any job for that matter, you better start studying. No more quotas, no more skin color or identity questions on forms determining your fate. It's time we focus on merit, the skills and abilities of individuals rather than their demographic backgrounds. Think about it. When did we decide it was okay to lower standards? When did we decide that filling quotas was more important than hiring the best person for the job? Imagine if we applied this logic to other areas of life. Would you want someone flying your plane because they met a quota or because they were exceptionally qualified? Of course not. And yet, here we are. We've allowed mediocrity to seep into our institutions while genuine talents get sidelined. It reminds me of an old quote from Albert Einstein. The measure of intelligence is the ability to change. Well, folks, it's time we changed our measurement criteria. Now, let's pause for a moment here. Ask yourself this. How do we expect our government to function effectively when it prioritizes representation over competence? How do we expect innovation in problem solving when those who are truly capable feel alienated or ignored? It doesn't have to be this way. We can shift gears. We can embrace a new era where intelligence reigns supreme. A system where curiosity is celebrated and hard work pays off. This isn't just about getting jobs, it's about building a better society where ideas flourish based on their merit. So I urge all of you today, students, professionals, advocates, to take action. Study hard, be relentless in your pursuit of knowledge, challenge yourselves and each other to think critically and engage in meaningful conversations around these issues. Let's advocate for policies that celebrate meritocracy over mediocrity. Let's push back against complacency. Together, we can redefine what it means to succeed in America, not through identity politics, but through intellect and dedication. The future belongs to those who prepare for it today. So let's rise up as the true minority, the intelligent few, and demand better from ourselves and our leaders. That's another Super Gringo short. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope to see you at the next one.
Flash, cameras clicking quick. Showtime, Super Gringo slick. Headlines buzzing like a mix. 20 seconds, that's the fix. Short and sharp, just like a dart. Gringo's antics steal your heart. In a flash, the show will start. Super shorts, that's where we part. Short and sharp, just like a dart. Gringo's antics steal your heart. In a flash, the show will start. Super shorts, that's where we